from? And where are we going?
Welcome to Red Ice Creations Radio. My name is Henrik Palmgren. This is Internet Talk Radio, recorded from the west coast of Sweden. I am the editor of redicecreations.com, a website covering news, research, and we also do this radio show, of course. We have a new show available every Thursday and Sunday. We do interviews with interesting guests, researchers, authors on both new and old subjects. We also have a subscriber section with even more radio shows available for you guys who are interested in getting even more of what we do here. And this also, of course, helps along and makes our radio show and website possible. Today we have an interesting program lined up for you. We have two guests with us on the line. This is the two Collins brothers. These guys are the authors of the book The Ascendancy of the Scientific Dictatorship, and you'll also find a lot of their articles over at conspiracyarchive.com, an excellent website. And if you guys remember, we had Phillip with us on the show back in November last year. So it's great to have Phillip back with us, and it's very nice to have Paul with us today also. And we are going to spend some time today talking about a recent article of theirs called Panoptic Age, Entering the Pupil of the All-Seeing Eye. And this is a huge piece that goes through a lot of material, covers a lot of political, philosophical backgrounds on new and the new political scene, and how this connects with the past and the history aspects of this. And it's going to be fascinating to dive into this article and talk more with the Collins brothers about this. So with that, just let me say, welcome to you both. Philip, welcome back. Nice to talk to you again. And Paul, nice to have you on the line too this time. So both you guys, welcome.
Oh, thank you so much. Nice to be back, Henrik. Thank you.
Excellent. It's great to have you here. Thank you for coming on. One idea that I had before we kind of dive into speaking about the Panoptic Age is just to talk a little bit about you guys. We are two brothers here too, running the redicecreations.com website and the radio show, and it would be kind of nice to hear from you guys how, when you first, began looking into these subjects, when that was, and kind of how you entered into that, or if there was kind of one of you leading the way, nudging, the other one along. How did it work out for you guys?
Well, I guess that it probably started with me. I'm Paul. Mm-hmm. It started with me back when I was about 17. I began looking into the topics of deep politics, parapolitics, elite deviancy, elite criminality, those kind of topics. Mainly I was influenced by the environment I was in. I lived in Colorado at the time, and there was this real anti-authoritarian vibe in the West at that time, and in particular in Colorado. The people out there had a very rugged individualist kind of mindset. At the same time, they were real salt-of-the-earth people that would give you the shirt off their backs. And they just really had a healthy kind of suspicion of government interference in the lives of regular citizens.
Yeah.
And when we went to school, in the high school, there was a large contingent of students that you could describe as being kind of anarchist, I guess. And some of their, while a lot of their ideology didn't line up with what I believed, they also had this kind of healthy kind of skepticism when it came to the government.
Sure.
So that kind of rubbed off. But what really got me kind of hot and heavy into this topic was around the time that I was about 23, and we had moved from Colorado out to Ohio, and I was going to attending a community college here in the area, and I was taking a class that was over the topic of constitutional law, and it was taught by a gentleman who's a judge in the area, and he had when he was during the time recruited at that time to basically work for the Central Intelligence Agency, and what his job was that he was supposed to work under the cover of being a Canadian national that was doing trade and running a trading post and basically doing business with the indigenous population. And what would happen is that MVA and Viet Cong individuals would come to this trading post, and he was supposed to just talk to them a lot. What the individuals at the agency, his handlers, basically said is, "You're a nice guy, so just talk to them and then report back what they say." And they'd come up and they'd basically talk to him and became chummy with him and warmed up to him, and basically would begin telling him what mountains their friend or cousin or nephew was on, and invariably what would happen is he would report back to the agency, and that mountain would get bombed.
Oh, sheesh. Okay.
And what happened was that he became friends made the acquaintance of an MVA general, and they became very close. And this MVA general said to him, "Look, I'd like you to come with me to Hanoi for about 3 days." And he didn't like that idea. He'd basically be the only white guy in the middle of North Vietnam.
Sure, yeah.
And he knew that it would just be very dangerous for him at the time. So he reported back to the agency, and they said, "Go ahead, do it." He went and he did it, and he was miserable the whole entire time and very paranoid and very scared and could not function properly and just didn't do a good job at intel gathering.
Yeah.
And so what happened is he came back. His handlers at the agency did not like his work in Hanoi, and they were mad at him for his performance there. And invariably, somebody there, he doesn't know who, he didn't know who, or at least he didn't say to me or to anybody else in the class who it was, but somebody there tipped off the MVA and basically blew his cover, his legend in spook talk is basically your cover story that's supposed to hold until the time that you slip away quietly. And if it wasn't for his friend, his friend, the MVA general, he would be dead. But this MVA general ended up saving his life, and he came back to the States to basically talk all about his experiences with the agency, because there was a lot more for him to say, because he had done work for the agency when he was a college student. He had also done some work associated with the plumbers in the Watergate scandal.
Oh,
and so he began to really get me involved in the topic of deep politics.
Yeah.
And it really got me going on that whole line, in particular the JFK assassination, because he was convinced that the JFK hit was probably in all likelihood agency connected, and the only people really that believe that the assassination was committed by Lee Harvey Oswald here in the States, the only people that really believe that are either in the mainstream media or in the government.
Sure, yeah.
That's the only ones that believe it, you know. And so he made me begin to explore it deeper. And I took another class with him, criminal justice. But what happened was my real first love was acting in the theater and performance. And so I started to do a lot of acting, and just did this study as a part-time thing, and mostly did theater productions in the area, and until around 2002, when the whole performance theater performance scene here began to dry up, and the the area became really sparse as far as performing arts went. They're still here, and I still have an opportunity to do it, just not as much as I would like. And when that whole well began to run dry, I began to look into this more and decided it was time to publish something about it.
Yeah.
And that's when Phil basically kicked in, did the editing job to my first book, The Hidden Face of Terrorism, and basically came up with the material and the primary contention, what would become the whole thesis of the second book, the ascendancy of the scientific dictatorship.
Yeah.
We decided to pool our skills, so to speak. Paul comes at the material from more of a historical and political science vantage. That's where a good many of Paul's studies were centered. My studies came from, first off, media criticism, broadcast criticism, which anybody who studies broadcast criticism, you don't need to be a conspiracy theorist to know that by studying broadcast criticism, that you're going to basically be exposed to an industry that is basically involved in the creation of consensus reality, and basically, in the words of Noam Chomsky, manufacturing consent.
Indeed.
I, in particular, in broadcast criticism, studied semiotics, which is basically the study of signs. Signs being symbols, icons, what have you, that are used by the mass media, the juxtaposition of these images with specific slogans, maxims, to basically sell not only products, but also to promote specific worldviews and to promote specific modes of thought and behavior. So my experience in communication studies, particularly in broadcast criticism, came to bear on the research, as well as my education in philosophy. I have a minor in philosophy, a philosophy minor, and that allowed me to really study more of the conceptual and ideational undercurrents of the conspiracy, conspiratorial history and parapolitics or deep politics, elite criminality. So that really brings to the table more than just your average pedestrian approach. Paul allows for more of a view of the concretes, and then I extrapolate the concretes into the abstract, and that allows people to not only learn the history and get some idea of how the history of the conspiratorial world, the world of elite criminality and elite deviance works, but also my experience with philosophy and with semiotics and what have you allows people to develop some conceptual understanding, which I think is what's been lacking in a lot of recent research into this field. And as a result, people get led astray. People believe more sensational theories and believe most of whatever's told to them in terms of what's constitutive of conspiratorial history, and they miss the mark altogether. By identifying